I'm willing to say he's the basement coach of the year.
They're going to get something rolling.
This is the Sports Saga podcast, and it is presented by Al Dias Electric. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Brady Kudo here with our guest, one of the new voices of Western Kentucky University as of very recently, only a few months ago. Brad Klein is with us. Brad, starting what is now, I suppose, in a few short weeks, we'll be calling some Lady Hilltopper volleyball, and then he'll be on the mic for some Lady Hilltopper basketball as well come the wintertime. Brad, thanks for taking the time. How we doing?
Living the dream. Can't complain, Brady. Thanks for having me.
Oh, of course. All right, so let's dive right into it. You're a Syracuse alum. You're a Newhouse alum. Just graduated, so congratulations on that. Now, obviously, we know Syracuse is the pedigree, the standard for sports broadcasting. Was this something you always had in mind, something you always wanted to get into?
Broadcasting or?
Broadcasting and then going on to Syracuse.
Yes, absolutely. Grew up in a Syracuse family. So I grew up a fan of especially basketball, football when they weren't breaking my heart. And, it just so happened that Syracuse had this great program called Newhouse that I hadn't heard of until fourth grade. Granted, that's very early. My uncle told me when I decided, hey, I want to be in journalism at that time. I thought it was going to be print. He told me, well, you're going to Syracuse. I said, yeah, but and he cut me off. He said, yeah, you're going to Syracuse. So I knew I wanted to go to Syracuse before I figured out journalism. And then once I figured out journalism, there was about an 8-minute stretch where I wasn't sure. And then after that, it was Syracuse.
So what, when we're thinking about, why broadcasting, what was the hook for you? What made you latch on and say, yeah, this is what I want to do with the rest of my life?
Couldn't hit the curveball. If I could, I wouldn't be talking about it. Man, it's a good question. I come from a middle class family, just working class. My parents are the best. They do whatever they can to support me. So it was good that they were supporting me in my dream to become a broadcaster. I don't think it's over the line to say that they don't like their jobs. I'm not going to get into what they do. They're working class family. They don't like their jobs, and they come home. They're upset because they had a bad day, and they're upset because they have to go back to work the next day. They did that to support me and my twin brother at all costs, which I respect the heck out of. But my goal was to go to work every day without feeling like I have to go to work every day. And that's a bit misleading because I work extremely hard. We all do. You do. To break into this field, not to mention sustain and succeed in this field. But it never felt like work. And that's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. No, I relate to that a lot, especially with my dad, because he's always said, go to school. Please make it a broadcasting, please.
Yeah.
I said, why? And he'd always say, because I hate my job.
Right.
And so thank you for that, because that resonated with me on a personal level. So again, Syracuse, it's the epitome. You're a fan of it. Do you have a favorite moment on the mic? Do you have a favorite game call from your time at college? I mean, I know there's got to be many, but
yeah, no, I don't have a favorite moment. As a person growing up, a Syracuse fan, I still pinch myself with thinking back to certain places I got to go and games I got to call. There's no play specifically, but I mean, senior year, I got to do Syracuse versus Villanova in the Garden. I got Syracuse at Georgetown. I did football in Tallahassee, crazy stuff. But honestly, I'm not saying this to be corny. The cool part was doing it with my friends because we go on the road trips and sometimes it's a long drive, sometimes it's a flight, whatever it is, stay in a hotel room with your friends. And that's awesome. And just the most college-y thing I ever got to do because, you're sacrificing your weekends and you're not going to the Syracuse people will appreciate this. You're not going to Marshall Street on, flip night or anything like that. But what you are doing is working on your craft. And then a few times a month on a weekend, you'll get to go to Louisville or Pittsburgh or something with your friends and have a great time and produce some great radio.
Now, what do you find? So you've done radio and you do TV. Do you have a preference, and why? What do you think the biggest differences are?
Oh man, I mean, it's
Well, we know
night
the biggest differences. I mean, radio, you're obviously providing more detail, but what do you like more?
probably radio. I mean, I don't have to tell you, you seem like a very educated person in the field. Radio is the play-by-play show, and then TV is the color show. So I don't know. It's a completely different mindset. I would almost liken it to a completely different craft. I think it kind of depends on the sport in a way. And for example, I'm going to do volleyball on the radio at Western Kentucky, in addition to TV. Sometimes it'll be on ESPN Plus, and then we have a deal with the radio provider here through Learfield. And I'm going to be honest, I've never done volleyball on the radio. I've done volleyball on TV many, many, many times. So much so that I've become Mr. Volleyball at Syracuse, a title that I've just ran with, and that's cool. Find your niche. But I can't give you an answer on something like that because I haven't done it. I know the volleyball lends itself extremely well to TV, and there are certain sports that do that and certain sports that don't. Baseball, for example, I find is a perfect radio sport. So I love doing it on radio more so than TV. But I don't know. It probably just depends on which side of the pillow I sleep on the night prior.
No, I think volleyball is honestly a really good sport. I got to do some games for my school, not this past school year before.
That's great.
And it's a fun sport. Like
People never sleep on it. And that's changing because it's gaining some traction, especially overseas. But with Athletes Unlimited, people are watching it more, and networks are starting to give it the praise it deserves. It's fun, and if you're not really a sports person, you can just watch a slam dunk on every play. If you are a sports person, there's so much more X's and O's that go into it, and strategy, and subs, and coaching, and chess, not checkers, that people really have to get on board. And that's one of the reasons I'm so excited about WKU.
So let's touch upon that. Let's talk about WKU. You're going from the ACC to the MAC, and I love some action on a Tuesday night.
Conference USA.
Oh, they're Conference USA?
Yes.
Oh, were they in the MAC, or am I crazy?
They were in the Sun Belt, and then they went to Conference USA.
Oh my God. Well, that doesn't take away. I still love the MAC. MACtion on a Tuesday night.
Me too. We all love MACtion.
So my apologies. Conference USA. This actually provides itself better. I feel like it's a conference over the last 5 years. It's grown. I don't know if it's because UAB brought football back, but it's grown a lot, right? I feel like their TV deal with CBS just grew, and I feel like every night there's something Conference USA. So what I know you're going to be jazzed, right? You're going to be like through the roof excited about this. But what are you most looking forward to down in are they in Bowling Green, or again, I don't know.
Good for you, Bowling Green. Well, first of all, good for you to know that. I thought originally that Bowling Green was just Ohio for Bowling Green State. I was wrong.
That was a guess. I thought I know.
Take credit for it.
I know two cities in Kentucky, and it's both credit to college sports: Lexington and Bowling Green. So that was honestly a guess, but good.
It's a big miss for Louisville, but yeah, run with it.
Oh my God, Louisville too. Oh my goodness.
Those are the biggest three cities in Kentucky. So those are the three to know. But as far as what I'm excited about, man, I'm going to be honest. I'm not being corny. I'm not trying to be.
No, go ahead.
The honest truth is that I've come to realize in my very, very brief time as a professional outside of Syracuse, and that's the great thing about Syracuse, is that you act like a professional. You need to act like a professional so that when you hit the workforce, you're hitting the ground running. It's not an adjustment. But in my time in the workforce, I've come to realize this business, probably with other businesses too, but especially this one, is 99.999% about who are you working with, who are you working for. That is it. Okay, you need to go to, and that's part of it, right? I said to start, I don't want to feel like I'm working. Well, is that going to happen if, even though I get to talk about sports, and that's awesome, someone is, breathing down my neck about something that doesn't, there are certain things in the workplace, especially in this industry, that need to be. And with WKU, I can't tell you how much they've supported me already. Haven't even called my first game. So there are so many things that go into it. I'm so excited to be a part of something because Hilltopper Sports Properties is really, really, really cool. And the WKU athletic department is supporting women's athletics to a point, to a pedigree that I feel like not many athletic departments are. And so many businesses and teams and athletic departments and people in America right now are talking the talk. They're not walking the walk. And WKU is on the women's athletics realm. And that's important.
Now, I feel like it is rare, at least from what I've seen, it's really, really rare for someone who just graduated. Now, correct me, are you 22?
I am.
You're
Yeah.
22. So I just want to make sure my facts are straight. So you just graduated and you land a D1 job. I mean, you have to really just pat yourself on the back because that's a really, from what I find, that's a very, very rare occurrence. So have you ever just sat and just go, or when you got the job, did you just go, wow?
No, not really.
Or was it more like,
I'm very thankful.
This is the start.
I know that there are a lot of people who are respectfully envious, and they should be because it's such a great opportunity, right? That's not my goal to make people jealous, not at all. But it's a great opportunity, and there are a lot of applicants, and there were a lot of talented applicants, and I can appreciate that. My favorite quote is from Lou Holtz, and again, I sound so corny, but he always said, my favorite quote, and it's been my screensaver for a long time. It's, if what you did yesterday seems big, you haven't done anything today. So don't rest on your laurels. It means two things. Don't rest on your laurels. And also, if you messed up yesterday, it's not a big deal. And if you think it's a big deal, then man, you are unproductive today. Move on, get over it. So with WKU, I mean, yeah, it was really exciting. I was excited. I still am to get started. But now there's no time to pat myself on the back.
Right.
It is time to get going and prove that WKU, Chris Freeman, the GM of Hilltopper Sports Properties, made the right call by gambling on me. And that's my mission for the next however long I'm here.
So you're starting with volleyball and you're transitioning to basketball come the winter. And I mean, that's going to be exciting. I mean, I know Conference USA basketball is usually one of the more exciting conferences. So what do you, again, you're looking forward to both, but come basketball season, I think, what are you going to be looking forward the most to?
It's a good question. The basketball team has had a lot of success in Conference USA. And I guess I'll go back to what I said earlier, and I guess I'll loop volleyball and basketball because you can't talk about success in WKU athletics without talking about the volleyball team. And that's one of the many reasons I've had my eye on WKU for a very long time, for probably a couple of years at this point.
Oh, wow.
Because I knew Syracuse, they were supporting me. The opportunities were largely, especially on TV, largely in Olympic sports, right? So on radio, yeah, you're doing the basketball, the footballs of the world. We don't have baseball, so it's lacrosse. And I've come to realize that lacrosse is an awesome sport. Didn't grow up with it. Now I love it. But all the TV opportunities are on ACC Network Extra, and that's the Olympic sports. And that's where I fell in love with volleyball. So I figured out, okay, if I'm going to go somewhere that, say, D1, for example, I'm going to have to figure out how I make myself pop as an applicant. And the way I did that was volleyball. Who values it? Who cares? The answer is WKU. So that's exciting. And that's why, yes, for basketball and yes, for volleyball, the women's athletics support, and I said it earlier, I'll say it again, off the charts in Bowling Green, Kentucky, in the community, but also the campus. They care. They care a lot. And it's not just about talking the talk, it's walking the walk, right? I think it's extremely important. At Syracuse, I had so many friends who were women in sports. That is not easy to do. And to support women in sports on the court, on the field, behind the mic. I honestly can't think of anything that's really more important right now. So I'm excited to be a part of that.
I think a great example, and this is more recent, and I saw something she was doing today, Lisa Byington.
Yeah.
One of my inspirations over, last few years, what she's done and what she's doing. Unbelievable. And she's a very talented woman. Like I saw today, she was presenting what the Big Ten is doing now, with the Lisa Byington Award, with the Big Ten Student U given to the best female broadcaster. I guess they had something today, and I saw it. And you're exactly right. It's great to see how far, with Title IX, was 50 years ago now, I think, all the way to now, where I'm throwing it out there. When Turner Sports starts their U.S. soccer agreement the next fall, I hope she is the lead voice, because, and I think she will be, because she, number one, she deserves it. I mean, my goodness, great announcer. I look forward to, if I learn she's doing a game, I'm like, I look forward to it. I do. And nobody more deserving, but anyway. Volleyball. So are you doing anything in the spring, or is it just volleyball and basketball? What are you doing?
I'm splitting the baseball season and then softball as well.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So let me conclude. And if you have anything else you want to add on, whatever, go right ahead. Is there one? Actually, I'll ask a couple questions. Growing up, realizing you wanted to get into broadcasting, did you have, like we were just talking about inspirations, did you have one, or did you have a few? I know you said your uncle was big on you going to Syracuse, but
yeah, as far as Syracuse, uncle, its grandfather, they were the Syracuse people that put me in the Syracuse jumpsuit when I was a baby, and I still have the photo. As far as broadcasting, I grew up a Nets fan and a Jets fan, and I was in New Jersey, and so it was Iron Eagle territory, and Ian is the GOAT for just anything. He's my guy. I'm convinced, and maybe I'm biased, but it's just my opinion, I think he's the best broadcaster to ever walk this earth. I just do. And he's a great dude also, which is also a huge part of it. I know you know that, because you've spoken to some great guys, and John Fanta, he's my guy. And John will be the first one to tell you, as Ian will be, don't be a jerk. Just don't be.
Yeah. John said that in an interview. He said, as competitive as this business is, and trust me, it is competitive.
Yeah.
We're all trying to help each other out.
Oh, yeah. Well, and you know what? And I would have come on the podcast anyway, but I see you doing this podcast, man. I'm not just trying to say this to do whatever. It's awesome that you're doing this. And it's awesome that you're reaching out to people like John. And I saw that you had Jim Jackson on the other day.
Yeah, that was very recent. So all right. So there's a story with that. And I'll go to the John one. So I'm going back a couple of years now. I had finished up doing some sports at my school, and I finished putting together a reel. I was like, I might as well just make one. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. So I literally screen recorded everything, went into iMovie, and I'm like, well, here it is. 4 minutes long, but you know what? It's something. And I was like, I want feedback on this, because in as much as I value feedback from my family has not touched a headset.
Right.
I want that experience. So it was, I think I just watched a game that John called. Yeah. And I was like, who is that guy? Because I really like him. So I waited to the end when they signed up. So he was like, I'm John Fanta. I'm like, John Fanta, that's going to stick. Fanta, that'll stick. So I find him on social media. Okay. Seton Hall guy. All right. Let me try. You don't know until you try. My grandmother's always said that. You do not know until you try. So I sent him this big, long message. I'm like, hi, Mr. Fanta. Like, I'm trying to make myself sound good. I just explained who I was. I'm like, I'm trying. I kid you not, a minute later, he said, hi, Brady. That's awesome.
Yep.
I'll review it, whatever. And he's been so good to me ever since. And just anything I need, like texting him, like he texted me happy birthday. I'm like, that's great. Like, he's been great to me.
Yep.
Um,
But he's a great guy. And
he is.
It's not just about, being nice to the people who can help you. It's about being nice to the people who are helping you and you don't even know it. And so that's the people who are, in the production room, in the control room. That's the people, your analysts, especially on TV. It's about making he or she look good. But I will say this, and just listening to what you have to say, it's important. It's interesting. Don't devalue feedback from non-broadcasters. Now, the broadcaster feedback is going to be great. And John is intelligent as you know what. He's awesome. But at the end of the day, our job as broadcasters is to serve the listener, and the listener ain't John Fanta, it ain't Jim Jackson. It's mom and dad, but watch out for mom and dad, because they don't want to say that you're bad at broadcasting, which you might be. I was awful. So,
no, I tell you, my first time ever doing it, I listened to that. I watched it back. I'm like, oh, I thought I sounded so much better. And I was like, oh my God, maybe, you know what? Maybe I thought this was, it, and maybe not. I remember my dad and my grandmother were both like, keep going. And my mom was like, you sound great. And I'm like, Mom, I love you. Thank you. But this is not what I thought it was. She was like, that's
you
okay.
Need that honest feedback.
All of them were like, I was maybe like 3 weeks into it, and they were like, you're 3 weeks. You've been doing this for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
All these people, Doc Emmerich, well, he was working at the time, Doc Emmerich, Gus Johnson, like, they've been doing this for decades. Just keep doing it. You're going to get better.
Sure.
And I remember, I'll never forget this. I was coming home. Maybe I had a game or something. I don't remember. But I get in my dad's truck, and we've got the Stanley Cup Finals on the radio. So we got home, and he turned it off. As soon as I got in the car, he turned it off. I said, why'd you turn it off? He said, you would have been disgusted. I said, why? He said, the announcer was terrible. I said, oh, couldn't have been that bad. And I'm telling you, I said, Brady, I said, please trust me. You could have done better than him. He doesn't give compliments like that. I said, really? He said, you want to hear it? I said, fine. He wasn't that bad. But it was that I appreciated that, right? Because nobody in my family, we're a Portuguese family. We don't hand out compliments. You got to earn them. All right. So to hear something like that, like it meant a lot. And I'm not putting myself on a pedestal. I'm not saying I'm anything great, but to know, like, all right, well, God, they think I can do this, then you know what? I might as well keep doing it. And going back to John, he's helped me a lot. I finally, after 2 years of knowing him, I finally met him in person at the Dunkin' Donuts Center this past winter. Yep. He was awesome. And going to Jim Jackson, another, just talking about, hey, you don't know until you try. I'm watching CBS one day. God, who's that? Chris Lewis. All right, Chris Lewis, that'll stick. Another Syracuse guy. I emailed Chris. Yeah, I'm happy to do whatever. So I'm trying to learn more about Chris. I'm on his website. I'm on his resume. References.
Yep.
Jackson. I said, perfect. Dave Sims. I said, middle of baseball season now, but come November, if we're still doing this, he'll be getting a call. So I was like, Jim, I said, and I've heard that he's great, at least with the younger generation, getting them started and, being a reference to them. And unfortunately, I had to run into work that day, so I couldn't do it. But Keegan, our Lakotas, I said, how was it? He said, he's one of the more genuine people we've had on the podcast. I said, really? He said, oh, he was awesome. And they talked a little bit afterwards too, which was cool. But I was like, well, that's good. At least we know that the people we're reaching out to are genuine and they're not doing it just to do it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's what it's about. When I got to Syracuse after calling some games in high school, I thought I was really good. No, I didn't think I was Iron Eagle, but I thought I was good. Turns out I was awful. And when I got there, I was a freshman. Drew Carter, Noah Eagle are the seniors. Eagle. They're the seniors.
Oh, yeah.
They are there to tell me what I'm doing wrong and how I can make it better. Now I'm blessed to be in that company and where I was, and I learned from the best, and I got better, not to their level. And my goal when I listened to Drew the first time, my goodness, it was okay. I'm never going to be as good as Drew. That was what I was thinking. Slightly different feeling now. Not that I'm better than him, but who knows? Maybe one day I try. He's amazing and another awesome guy, but I'm never going to be as good as Drew. I'm going to die trying. And so I asked him, hey, man, I just really want to do this. I'm going to work hard. Tell me, what do I need to work hard on? And he would tell me. So that's what it's about. It's about trying to find the people who actually care about you, whether that's in the workplace or just, while you're in your bedroom trying to get better, and then grabbing on and listening.
Now, I know you touched on Noah. Have you met them? Well, obviously Noah, but have you met Ian?
Yeah, actually, I went to a sports broadcasting camp. I don't know which summer. I went 2 years. That's how I met him. And it's so geeky now, but it was the coolest thing ever. I mean, think about meeting Michael Jordan. That's who it
Meeting
was.
your idol. No, that's nothing geeky.
My
about
idol.
that.
So
nothing geeky.
I went up to him, and remember, I'm a Jets fan, I'm a Nets fan, and above all else, I'm a Nine Eagle fan. So I went up to him first day. It's a week-long camp, I think. And I asked him, I said, if it's okay with you, after every day, I'd love to ask you 3 questions. Give me a Nets question, give me a Jets question, and give me a broadcast question, if that's okay with you. He said, you can ask me 6. Yeah, no problem, whatever. So that's what I did. And we kept in touch, and I sent him reels and, material, and he gave me unbelievable advice, steered me in the right direction. WAER, he's one of the unbelievable legends of the radio station in Syracuse. And I would send him stuff and keep him updated. And, WK, he's not on Twitter. So WKU, I let him know, and he was excited. And he's almost not even a mentor at this point, almost like an afar father figure, because that's how much he means to me and how much he cares about me, which is the cool part.
Oh, that's awesome. No, really, that's really, really cool. And even listening to him, you ever listen to someone and you were like, they were put on earth?
Yeah.
That's Ian Eagle.
Ian Eagle is the funniest human being I've ever met,
Is
on and off mic. And
really?
that's the funny thing about a lot of the really good broadcasters. Like, I can speak to John is one of my close allies, I guess, in the business, and then
Sure.
Ian. If you are the same person on mic as you are off, odds are you're going to be pretty good, right? Because I'm not going to say anyone, but a lot of people can call sports. A lot of people can talk about sports, say the time and score enough, even though no one does, and, call a cool play. But when you're able to make people care who don't have a rooting interest in whoever's playing, yeah, you're doing something right. And the way you do that is by being genuine and inviting them into your court and your broadcast. They will invite you into their home. And John does that really well. Ian is the maestro at it, and I'm a student. So that's it.
Well said. Now, have you had any other, contact? I know John, like Jim Jackson. I'm trying to think who else. Matt,
with Syracuse, we're very lucky, right? Because you're immediately welcomed into the Syracuse Newhouse WAER family once you join the radio station and whatever. And Mike Tirico is someone who's been extremely helpful to us, or was extremely helpful to us as students. Jay Alter, I guess, is a more contemporary example. He's a great guy. Dave Ryan. There's so many guys that I look to. Jason Benetti.
I was going to say, we speaking more recent news with Jason going to Fox now.
Yeah,
that was a great get by them, in my opinion.
And that's another. First of all, Jason, I've spoken to him a few times. Jason's probably the smartest person I've ever.
I was going to say, he's got a law degree. I mean,
But it's not just the degrees. I mean, a lot of people can have the fancy degrees, and I've met stupid doctors before. He's intelligent, and he's one of those people you walk into a room, you shake his hand, and you say, that guy is brilliant. And he hasn't even said anything. It's the way he carries himself in a very respectful way. He's not pretentious at all. It's just, you can tell, smart guy, student of everything, and that sports and that's it, and everything else. So I love him. I love listening to him.
Huge inspiration too, again, of what everything he's had to overcome in his life
Yeah.
to get to where he is now. I mean, anything is possible. I don't know, that's a little corny, but you know what?
Hey, I've said like 50 corny things.
That's
on
the
this
reality of the
podcast, whatever.
situation. And you know what? Can't deny the reality. So that'll do it for this episode of the Sports Saga podcast. So we've got a couple things to tell you you all about. There's going to be a link to something called smackapparel.com in the description below. It's for the diehard fan. It's a lot of rivalry t-shirts. We're getting some in the mail. Really, really excited. And if you need anything, you want to get some Christmas shopping done early, you get a birthday coming up, get a shirt or 2 or 3. Use the code SAGA at checkout for 10% off. It's going to help us. It's going to help Smack Apparel. It's going to be great. Share, like, follow, do, you know what you got to do. It's all in that link tree below. So thank you again, Brad Klein. Appreciate it. For Brad, I'm Brady. Thanks for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your day. And remember, anything is possible.